Fisherfolk facing a choppy fishing season. Calls for the enforcement of local building codes. Complaints continue of major abuse of the elderly.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. There's a new twist tonight to what the Barbados Workers Union calls its whistleblowing of the questionable manner in which Sandals Resorts Barbados hired a number of people after informing several staff members that they were at risk of being made redundant. BWU General Secretary Tony Moore says new information coming to hand indicates that some of the employees put on notice have received letters indicating that they are no longer facing unemployment. This includes those already placed on special leave with pay, who, according to correspondence from Sandals Human Resources Manager Kim Henry Charles, have now been advised to report to work on Sunday.
This sudden reversal comes on the heels of our earlier whistleblowing on Sandals' questionable hiring practices of so-called casuals, all 19 of whom were quietly sent home between last Friday and this Monday. But what is more disturbing is the attempt by Sandals to magically make this situation disappear. These workers, hired without contracts and paid in cash and denied basic protections, were part of an underground arrangement.
Meanwhile, the new hires by Sandals have been terminated and the BWU is demanding justice for them. Ms. Morris says workers must not be made to feel that they cannot demand dignity for their work. She adds that they are not to be punished for speaking out about finding themselves caught in an unlawful arrangement.
It was not their fault that they were subjected to these illegal and indecent working conditions. The BWU will not stand idly by while these 19 workers are victimized for simply wanting to provide for their families. Neither should the government of Barbados nor the people of Barbados support this kind of underhanded behavior by Sandals. This entire situation should serve as a rallying cry for all Sandals workers, and in fact, for all workers across Barbados. Speak up. Silence is often felt to be easier, but in the long run, it does not bring meaningful change. Sandals and other companies must not be seen as too big, too bold, and too powerful to be challenged.
Fishermen are in a race against time. The fishing season is scheduled to start in November, and more than half of the complement of boats are still on dry dock and not ready for the high seas. When the CBC News team visited the fishing complex on the Princess Alice Highway today, it was a hive of activity, with fisherfolk saying there is a glimmer of hope. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The atmosphere was rather quiet for a fish market. Not many people or fish around. In fact, it pretty much matched the description of the morale of fisherfolk, as described by President of the Bridgetown Fisherfolk Association, Adrian Wiltshire. He says the spirit among them is down, especially as the start of the fishing season draws nearer. The industry was devastated by the passing of Hurricane Beryl at the start of July, and only a few boats have returned to the water. However, the presence of amberfish and tuna this morning from the few boats that are working was well received by the vendors.
The fish season will normally start in November and end between July and August each year. So to have 50 to 60% of the vessels back into the water by November, which is the start of the season, would help to increase the positive outlook for the industry.
Boat owner Emerald Holder said the industry is in trouble as the vendors have received the assistance, but the grant funding promised to boat owners is yet to materialize.
I know that the fisher folks has got a stipend of $2,000 boat owners and crew, but that I am told that is to help them in this hard time. But as it relates to the repairs or the ongoing repairs, We haven't been accommodated in that area yet.
But a check with government authorities indicates that 30 vendors have received assistance and over 100 payments of grant funding have been made to boat owners. The experienced boat owner said the challenges for them is compounded by the cost of diesel and getting access to the product. He called for a return to the Bridgetown port for supplies.
Government need to let us go back into the port where we could get duty-free diesel as we used to do before, and that would go a long way. I help cut the costs that we have right now, and I'm sure that people will be grateful.
Over 300 boats were either damaged or destroyed by the passing of Hurricane Beryl, and only a third of the boats have returned to the water. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
And as we get deeper into the hurricane season, we're hearing calls from a leading engineer for minimum building standards to be enforced. It is coming from Lieutenant Colonel Trevor Brown. He says the Barbados National Standards Institution has already established a building code for engineers in Barbados.
There are building standards established in Barbados since 2013, I think it is. What needs to be established in Barbados is a law that says that those building standards must be adhered to. This is the way that building standards are done all over the world. You don't pass building standards into law. You establish building standards, and the BNSA has done that. And then you pass a law that says that those building standards must be adhered to. Building standards are dynamic standards. Things change. New technology comes out. New materials come out. So the BNSA is then able to update the standards before having to go through the process of changing the law and all that. So what the ministers need to put in place is a law that actually says that those building standards are the minimum standards for building in Barbados.
Referring to the new sugarcrete technology, Lieutenant Colonel Brown says there is no need to introduce a new experimental technology when the material used in the region is adequate.
All you will do by introducing some new technology that is even experimental in the place where they're selling it is introduce new unknowns into the building industry to make things even more complicated than they already are. We need to solve simple problems that everybody in the world have already solved. So rather than do what is obvious and what is the ABC, we are now looking around the world to see what is the latest technology for people who do these things, because they probably don't have access to limestone like we have, for example, or to concrete like we have. There's nothing wrong with our building material.
And just over 1,000 miles or so to the north in New York, Prime Minister Mottley was making a call for attention to be focused on solving the climate crisis and dealing with unregulated artificial intelligence and pandemics. Prime Minister Mottley is also shining light on antimicrobial resistance as she participated in the second high-level meeting on AMR today. The dedicated meeting is a new effort to bring urgent attention by leaders for increased action on the growing risk of untreatable infections becoming more widespread and of increasing mortality. Ms. Mottley brought to the fore the impact of AMR, noting it is already claiming 1 million lives a year directly and is responsible indirectly for just under 4 million more. Well, as part of a packed schedule, Ms. Mottley addressed the Global Renewables Summit organized by Bloomberg Philanthropies. She suggested that small states may have to consider pooling investments as work continues to phase out fossil fuels and increase reliance on renewable energy. Citing the Caribbean as an example, she said opportunities exist for significant capacity in solar, wind, and geothermal energy, among others. Special Advisor to the UN Secretary General on Climate Action and the Just Transition, Selwyn Hart, says more needs to be done to keep the 1.5 degrees threshold pledged in the Paris Agreement to tackle climate change within reach. He says despite the record deployment of renewables, it is not displacing fossil fuels as fast as the world needs. Coming up, we'll tell you about the complaints that keep coming about elderly abuse.
We are your voice, the 2024 Parish Ambassadors of St. Peter.
Did you know that Barbados has a child protection bill?
The Child Protection Bill acknowledges the connection between child abuse, neglect, and mental health issues amongst our youth.
The bill gives support through mental health counseling to children who have experienced trauma or are living in challenging circumstances.
By addressing the emotional impact of abuse, we can assist children in healing and building confidence, giving them a voice to speak up and speak out. Let's all protect the children of Barbados, the gems of our nation.
The premature acquisition of land by grandchildren, physical abuse and elderly abandonment are all complaints made to the Ministry of Elder Affairs and People Empowerment on a daily basis. Elder Care Advisor in that ministry, Cynthia Ford, wants families to work with and not against the seniors, given the sacrifices they have made for the society.
Too many complaints are coming to us daily of the pension that's being taken away, the property that is being taken up, and the families that are all in fighting as a result of the senior citizen who would have owned the land and the property, having worked so hard, most of them in the agricultural belt and others. Their properties are being taken away sometimes by children and grandchildren and even strangers whom they are embracing. So I want all of Barbados to look out for all these inadequacies, all of this suffering, and raise it with us. Every day we get no less than 8 to 10 calls from residents and others who call to say, my neighbor is being taken advantage of.
Ms. Ford added that this abuse goes against the very nature of Barbadian culture, where seniors were treated with the utmost respect. She was speaking on the sidelines of a birthday celebration for one of her constituents, Sarah Ann Benjamin, a resident of the View Seniors Home, who turned 104 years old today. She wants citizens to cherish the elders instead of abandoning and mistreating them.
The care that should be extended should always be top of the line, despite whatever level they are at in society, whether they're upper class, middle class, poor. They must look after the seniors. And of course, we grew up with grandparents and all that, and we respected them. But every day, Dr. Wiltshire and I receive messages where seniors are being beaten, seniors are being robbed, they are being abandoned. That is not the culture of Barbados at all. Our foreparents were poor, but they looked after their grandmother, their mother, their great-grandmother, even the neighbors. There was that homely kind of spirit in communities across the length and breadth of this country.
Well, as we just told you, today is a very special day for our Barbadian, Sarah Ann Benjamin. It is her 104th birthday, which she spent with her loved ones. Wendy Burke reports.
While Sarah Ann Benjamin is a resident at the View Seniors Home in St. Thomas, she is still surrounded by her loved ones, and they were on hand today to celebrate the big milestone with her. Her second grandson, Carl Eiffel, recalls the life of his granny in various countries and territories.
She was present at my birth in England. When she returned to Montserrat, where she is from originally, I later joined her at a tender age of 4 and a half, thereabout. And with her I was raised. I lived with her most of my life, my childhood years. She saw me through schooling, and she was a strong tower of support for me, as well as the others who grew up with her.
He added that the woman of God who sang alto in the choir was a strong disciplinarian, but the Seventh-day Adventist also did her bit to care for the elderly and those in need.
I have known her to be one who would do a lot of visiting of the underprivileged, whether in what we would have called the poor houses, nursing homes, homes of the elderly, wherever they were, and wherever there was a need in the village, she would be there to assist.
Member of Parliament and Elder Affairs Advisor Cynthia Ford was also on hand to bring warm greetings to Sarah Ann, who has lived in Grandview Shop Hill for a number of years.
To be able to celebrate her 104th birthday, this home is one of the best in Barbados, not because it is situated in St. Thomas, but because of the pristine view and the care that is being extended to the members and the families who are here away from home, but in another home. And I think that that is really very important, and a strong message to be sent to all others who have developed homes for seniors to be able to ensure that the care is top of the line. So I'm really very proud to be here with Ms. Paulette this morning and her team, and of course with the Phil, and Benjamin family celebrating Madam Sarah.
And celebrate they did.
Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you.
The birthday girl had a special message for the youth.
We thank you all for coming, and that you all may grow in grace and do what is right, so that men may see you all walk and vote Irene.
Happy birthday to you, Sarah and Benjamin. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Thanks, Wendy. We can tell you now that the Alexandra School will be closed tomorrow. This after Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer-Bradshaw and the Acting Deputy Chief Education Officer with responsibility for schools, Julia Beckles, visited the school and engaged in dialogue with teachers and staff earlier. Now, in a release, the chief says after listening to staff grievances, some of which remain unresolved, the Ministry of Education took the decision to allow students to remain at home today, while teachers and staff received additional counselling and engaged in staff development. Also, Dr. Archer-Bradshaw says national diagnostic assessments scheduled for today for some of the students have been rescheduled. Tomorrow, Friday, will be observed as Sneaker Day, a day the NCD Commission is using to raise awareness about the importance of physical activity among workers. Barbadians are being encouraged to step into wellness by wearing their sneakers to work tomorrow. You can post selfies or videos with the hashtag BBSneakerDay2024 for the opportunity to win prizes. Chair of the NCD Commission, Suleiman Bulbolia, reminded of the importance of physical activity, stating society has become less active.
Your workplace generally is where you sit a lot. You're at your desk, you're at your counter, wherever you are, you're sitting a lot. And you're spending long hours doing that. The job that I am, thankfully, I am on my feet most of the day. And that's why you have your Fitbit, you track your steps. I mean, the argument is that you should have 10,000 steps a day, but I see a new research saying that 5,000 even is enough. So by the time I check my steps, I'm almost close to 5,000. So, but a lot of persons are not in that position where their job allows them to be moving around a lot. And that's where we need to have sensitization on that. You know, you're sitting for a long period of time, you're not physically active. Those who are at home, and as you said, doing a little bit of housework and so on, but you still need to have that activity.
Well, health and wellness advocate Celia Collymore further revealed the NCD Commission will be working with the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the launch of its Get Moving initiative.
Encouraging people, if they're interested in coming out between 12:30 and 3 o'clock. Braemar Court, Dighton in St. Michael, you can come out. There's going to be activities. I'm going to be doing some fitness with them. We're also going to be doing edutainment. So you're learning, but you're doing fun stuff as well. There's going to be health chats. There's going to be fun competitions and prizes and giveaways as well, and healthy eats and treats for persons to also consume.
Well, joining us tonight for Sports Night is Anne-Marie Burke. Anne-Marie, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson. And I begin with news of cricket as Barbados Royals missed the opportunity to move into second place of the Republic Bank CPL last night when they lost to host Ghana Amazon Warriors at Providence. Opting to field first, the Royals bowling was put to the sword as the Warriors posted an impressive 219 for 8. Player of the match, Shea Hope, top scored with 71. That included 5 fours and 5 sixes, while Shimon Hetmar added 57. Those two put on 106 for the third wicket partnership. Mahesh Dasanka was the only bowler who avoided the onslaught as he took 3 for 15. Royals were never in it after that as they replay. They were restricted to 172 for 9 to lose by 47 runs. David Miller top scored with 71 not out with 8 fours and 5 sixes, while the Royals leading run scorer Quinton de Kock only got 35 this time around. Gudakesh Moti took 3 for 42. With their third consecutive defeat, the Royals can no longer head into the playoffs in first place, as with one preliminary match remaining for them, they're on 10 points and in third place, while leaders St. Lucia Kings have 14. The Warriors are in second place on 12. Today is an off day in the CPL as the Royals travel to Trinidad and Tobago to take on the host Knight Riders in their final prelim tomorrow. That game is at a new time of 8 p.m., so it will be live on CBC TV8 as well as MCTV Sports Match Channel 310. I take a break here, and when I return, I have news of football.
St. Philip, loud and proud, we are your 2024 Parish Ambassadors.
Did you know about Barbados' Child Protection Bill?
The Child Protection Bill establishes procedures for a situation where a child leaves or is taken from a foster home or child care center.
To ensure a safe return of the child, authorities can request a court order. This prompts an investigation into why they left and their placement in a secure location during the process.
Once the investigation is complete, the child's future placement will be decided on.
The Child Protection Bill is essential for providing all children with a safe environment and a promising future filled with hope and opportunities.
Let's all protect the children of Barbados, the gems of our nation.
And welcome back. UW Blackbirds and Kickstart Rush marched into the round of 16 of the Prime Minister's Cup football competition with big victories last night. Playing at Friendship, the Blackbirds put 9 unanswered goals past Pinelands, while Kickstart Rush blanked Barbados Soccer Academy 5-0. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boys reports.
Friendship, the venue for midweek action in the Prime Minister's Cup semi-professional football competition. 2 matches on the card, so let's begin with UA Blackbirds in the black taking on Pinelands. 6 minutes in, the Blackbirds flapping their wings down the right. Tiki-taka style ends with Reese Stephen adding the finishing touches. Side foot strike, that's 1-0. A few minutes later, the goals were raining down and UWI were definitely in the driver's seat. Cross into the box, half-hearted clearance, drops to Reed Stephen into the onion bag. UWI up 2-0. Well, Reed Stephen collected a quick hat-trick with just 15 minutes on the clock. Walking past the Pinelands defense like an eager pedestrian, as easy as taking candy from a baby. The score 3-0 at halftime. Second half now, the teams going in opposite directions, but it was more of the same. The Reed Stevens show continued after the commercial break. Free kick through the wall and into the back of the net. That's 4. The wheels were off the Pinelands wagon at this stage, and with UWI grabbing 5 more in the second half, the contest was over. Shamari Herwood, welcome to the party. Free entry as UWI Blackbirds flew into the round of 16 with a whopping 9-0 win over Pinelands. Let's go to the featured encounter. Kickstart Rush in the blue versus Barbados Soccer Academy. 11 minutes in, the Rush attacking down the wing. Exquisite team movement, and quite fittingly, Kevin Lucas passes it into the net. Talk about composure. Lovely from Lucas. Kickstart Rush up and running. Having taken the lead, Kickstart Rush were growing in confidence with every move. Carl Hinkson into Azarel Crony, and you can put your money on this one. Not going to miss from there. Soccer Academy staring elimination full in the face. The goals were flowing, and the BSA team looked out of depth at times. Hinkson again involved. Lovely dink. Serve on a platter for Raymar Walters to put the garnish on the side. Great team goal. That's 3-0. Second half now, and it was one-way traffic again. Jamarco Johnson now swirls away from his marker and finds Walters, who's in on goal, and they're going to have to pick this one out of the net. Kickstart Rush with a 4-0 advantage. Walters secured a brilliant hat-trick in the end as Kickstart Rush advanced to the knockout round with a 5-0 win over Soccer Academy. Anmar Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
Well, Pearson, coming up, I'll have news of drafts and road tennis. That's when I return later.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. We'll take a break here. I'm coming back with a business report.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Morning Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morningbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
And in business, biogas filling stations should become a reality in Barbados in 2 years' time. The revelation came from UWI scientist Dr. Nigel Henry as development continues with the creation of the first renewable energy vehicle to be introduced in Barbados. He said the development has moved into its pilot stage and tells a business report it is a result of extensive research by scientists at the campus in collaboration with the Rum and Sargassum Incorporated and Supernova Lab of Future Barbados.
We hope to be at the pump in 2026. In April 2026, you'll be able to change your regular gasoline car to a renewable energy car and fill up at our gas stations.
The UWI scientist said the new fuel will eventually be used for all classes of vehicles and fits with government's green-friendly initiative.
This could be used to power, as I said, regular gasoline vehicles with a one-time, same-day, very low-cost upgrade, but it could also be used to power electricity, which could then charge an electric vehicle.
The Financial Services Commission wants to participate in the Barbados Light and Power rate case appeal in the High Court. 2 days ago, they sent a letter to the judge, Barry Carrington, asking leave of the court to make a amicus curiae, a friend of the court submission in the matter, the Barbados Light and Power Company versus the Fair Trading Commission, and the Commission proposes to advance written submissions and, if required, make oral arguments to assist the court in determining certain questions of law. The Commission is interested in the appeal insofar as issues of jurisdiction have arisen in relation to the self-insurance fund that is the subject of the matter. The Commission's interest is therefore specific to its mandate to supervise and regulate the non-bank financial services sector, which includes self-insurance. Time now for tonight's trading report.
In Jamaica, Victon Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 6,475,240 units was the volume leader, followed by Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial and Jamaica Producers Group Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader with 359,300 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $1,270,558, followed by Scotiabank Trinidad and Tobago Limited. And here in Barbados, Goddard Enterprises Limited was the sole security, trading 13,613 shares at Barbados $2.95 each.
That's tonight's business report. We'll take a break. Weather is next.
I'm Inspector Rodney Innes, the Barbados Police Services Communications and Public Affairs Officer. Just a reminder that our new road traffic accident investigation policy is now in effect, and the service will only be responding to accidents involving serious injuries and road fatalities. However, there will be some exceptions, namely when a pedestrian is involved in an accident, situations where there is likely to be a breach of the peace, or acts of suspected criminality, and mass casualty events, of course. We will also come to the scene of an accident if the free flow of traffic has been severely interrupted or where there is a road safety issue. The Barbados Police Service seeks to be more efficient and effective in the service we provide to you, our public. You can help us by complying with the advice outlined in the new policy. If you have any queries concerning the policy, please feel free to contact us at any police station.
For more information on the new road traffic accident investigation policy, visit tbps.gov.bb or gisbarbados.gov.bb and click on the banner on the homepage. A message from the Barbados Police Service and the Barbados Government Information Service.
Well, early in our newscast, while sitting in this studio, we heard the clap of thunder, and we all looked at each other and wondered what's going on. Carrie Ann knows. Carrie Ann, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Pearson, and good evening, everyone. That's right, Pearson. Our skies are well lit with the lightning, as we do have unstable weather conditions affecting the island. As a result, today we had partially cloudy to cloudy skies along with some showers, and we're currently experiencing some lightning across the skies. Now, we do have a flash flood warning in effect for the island, and we're also tracking 2 tropical waves east of the region. The maximum temperature today was 31 degrees Celsius, the minimum 27 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity 89%. Of the winds, they're coming in from the northeast. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where the temperatures are ranging from 23 to 27 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture building across the region, and the winds, they are generally light across the islands. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where we do have 2 tropical waves east of the region. The first is located just around 39 degrees west, and the second further out at 22 degrees west. But today, moisture behind a tropical wave, now at 62 degrees west, maintained unstable weather conditions for us. We had partially cloudy to cloudy skies along with showers. Now, those showers impacted mainly the northern districts here in Barbados. We're talking about especially St. Lucie, where they had up to 4 inches of rainfall. Now, the seas, they are also quite choppy across the western coastline. Later on tonight, we are expecting that the moisture will continue to move across the island. We are expecting mostly cloudy skies along with those showers, and also isolated thunderstorms across the island. The winds, they're quite light, and they're peaking at 50 knots across the region. As I said, those seas, well, they're slightly choppy along the western coastline. Further south now, we have the ridge pattern as the dominant feature. As a result, the Guianas, they experienced mostly sunny skies today. Over now in the Western Caribbean, we have the outer bands from Hurricane Helene maintaining very wet conditions across Cuba. There's also that tropical wave generating very wet conditions over there in Puerto Rico. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Morning Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morningbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:47 and will set at 5:51. Now, high tide is expected at just around 1:23 in the afternoon. That's 1:28 in the afternoon. And the first low, well, that will be at 6:44 a.m. The seas, they are smooth to moderate in open water with swells peaking at 1.5 meters. We are expecting it to be slightly choppy along the western coastlines. The winds, they're coming in from the east, the southeast, and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, unstable weather conditions will continue to affect us. We are expecting mostly cloudy skies along with those showers and also some isolated thunderstorms. Over the next 3 days, we can expect localized afternoon showers here in Barbados.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Morning Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, Email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Let's get back to sports now. Anne-Marie.
Yes, Pearson. Now, it was a tough day for Barbadian drafts players at the three-move restriction World Championship qualifier in Germany today. Ronald Suki King has slipped to 6th position in the standings after a strong showing yesterday, where he was joint leader of the qualifier on 12 points. Now, after today's round 6, International Grandmaster King is now in a 4-way tie for 6th position with 14 points. The leader is Malakaya Nonukela of South Africa with 19 points, followed by Matteo Bernini of Italy and Crispin Odembayo of Kenya, both with 16 points. King will be back in action in round 7 tomorrow against Alex Holmes of the USA. Way down in 18th and 19th positions on 10 points are the other two Barbadians, Kent Lane and Colin Price, respectively. Well, Tennis Canada and Gauntlet Road Tennis have formed a major partnership to help develop and promote road tennis in North America. CEO of Gauntlet Road Tennis, Ron Kalman, says it's a step in the right direction for Barbados' indigenous sport.
This allows us to interact with other provinces and introduce road tennis through Tennis Canada's leadership and guidance. Also, it allows us now to get to the point where we're building a national organization for road tennis, which will allow us now to have the rules and regulations done at the highest level here in Canada. Tennis Canada being one of the preeminent organizations in the country. So this is great news for us with the partnership, the guidance, that's going to allow road tennis to grow expeditiously here in Canada.
And that's it for sports. Back over to you, Pearson.
Anne-Marie, thank you. We're back in a moment.
From the heart of Barbados, we are your 2024 St. Thomas Parish Ambassadors. Are you aware of the Child Protection Bill of Barbados?
The Child Protection Bill focuses on the best interests of all children in Barbados, with particular attention to those who are most vulnerable.
Furthermore, it emphasizes the importance of proper care for children under 12.
Remember, if a child is left unsupervised for an extended period, it can be considered an offense and lead to legal consequences such as fines or even imprisonment, as it puts the child at risk.
By prioritizing the well-being of all children and holding adults accountable, the Child Protection Bill builds a safety net for Barbados' most precious gems. Let's all protect the children of Barbados, the gems of our nation.
Well, that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen for the crew. To all of you, good night.